Hey guys, today I'm actually making a video here of another Memorymoog restoration I've been working on. And this video is actually for Mike. This is his Memorymoog. And just going to take a quick minute and go over it and show you that everything is actually working. And give you a good final look at it here in a video format. I know I've sent you a lot of emails and a lot of pictures and things, but it's always good to finally see the finished product before it goes out the door. And basically guys, for anybody that's curious about this one, it's actually a very early one. It's serial number 249, and so I had to do a little bit more work to this one because it being early, there is some differences in some of the later production units. This one here got the auto tune upgrade, which some of you may have heard of, some of you may have not. But basically, what it does is it's an upgrade, a pretty major upgrade. I have to cut tracings on boards, add components, take away some components, add different value components. So it's a pretty complex thing. It's on a lot of boards. It's on your demux board, your computer software changes, and your common analog board gets some major tracing cuts and wire jumpers and things like that. So I did all that. Got this thing running on 2.5 operating system now, which is a big plus from what you had, which is 1.6, which is really early. And so this one really suffered from the normal stuff I see in early ones, which is some of the tuning problems. When you hit auto tune, it doesn't necessarily always pull all voices in because it was just an early style, and it didn't really have the stuff needed to pull those voices in more accurately. And you're actually fighting some analog circuitry as well. So that's kind of where some of those tracing jumps come in, is actually eliminate some of the stuff that causes problems. So anyways, with that said, I did all the updates there. And then I had another issue, and this issue took me a little while to figure out because it was kind of a new one on my list. I've never had one kind of fell in this kind of way. And what it would do is it would sound great in polyphonic mode. And now this was after calibration, I should mention. It sounded great in polyphonic mode. I'd hit mono mode, and oscillator 3 would not track the keyboard correctly. The scaling was out. And basically what would happen is all the voices would separate from each other as you'd go up the scale of the keyboard. So it just sounded like a horrible mess. And the only way to make it sound right was turn oscillator 3 down and just use oscillator 1 and 2. Well, what I found out was that there's actually a voice problem on voice 1. Which, what happens is whenever I do a calibration on these things, I'm calibrating the common analog board, scaling and all the adjustments needed there to make it work with all the voices, but I use voice 1 as my guide. I use it for the master scaling and adjusting. And so what happened is I was doing all my adjustments to a broken voice. So what it would do is it was just offsetting all the other oscillators. And what I found it to be was actually this chip right here. This is what all the problems were right here. And it looks like IC, but it's actually a resistor network. 100K resistors, and you had some that went out of tolerance. Well, when they went out of tolerance, it affected the tracking, and so that was your issue. And so the test I did to find that was I took voice B and I put in voice A spot, and I recalibrated for voice A, which was actually voice B, if you can keep up with me here. And I turned off, actually physically shut off oscillator B, or voice B, and then everything was in tune. So everything was working great. So it was actually, and I turned oscillator or voice B back on, and it would be out of tune on that voice. So fix that voice, and that was it. But it took me a little while because I was trying to figure out if I was fighting myself of the upgrade, because there is times when things just don't go right, and I have to make sure my components are good, and I have to make sure things are right. And so it's a pretty complex little thing, but it was just me fighting myself, and when I did that, it proved that it was actually a voice-related problem. And it was probably a problem you had before, Mike. It's probably an old problem that I just didn't catch when I was doing the first diagnostics test, because your voices were out of tune, period. And I couldn't get them to pull in. It was only tuning up to 5 voices. And another thing is, too, with this resistor network bad, is the computer was showing me it was in tune. It was showing 7F, 7F, 7F. In the hexadecimal reading, so it was actually tuning up, so everything looked good, and but the scaling would just be way out. But got that fixed, did a full calibration, Did all the common stuff I do with these too. I should mention I replaced all the common failure parts, recalced the whole boards. Of course, then I detail and clean your chassis, make things right. But I will show you here that everything is working. We'll go here to debug mode. I've got it in cycling mode for the keyboard, and I will show you here that all the voices are working. So as you can hear, all the voices are actually working, and I'll go through each oscillator here so you can see that they're working. So here's oscillator 1. And actually that's got a filter response on it too, that's what you're hearing there. Here's oscillator 2. As you can hear, works great. And then here's oscillator 3. It's actually octave higher, or 2 octaves higher. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. There you go, let's go here. I'll bring it down to the others. Here you go. So you can hear they're all working, and when you put them together, it sounds great. And also I will show you that auto tune works now too as well. So I'll hit auto tune, and you'll notice that your auto tune is going to be a lot faster than it used to be due to some capacitor changes. Sample and hold circuits are a lot faster now for the multiplexing of this function. And here in just a second you should see 6 tuned right there, as you can see, and everything's cowed and it's working great. And I'm just going to give you a walkover right quick before I start kind of demoing it for you. But basically what I did is I conditioned your wood, got all that conditioned with some good conditioner. Cleaned all your knobs, cleaned the interface panel. Try everything in my power to make it look as good as it plays. It's really what I like to do. But I'll just kind of give you a walk around here. As you can see, it looks nice and shiny. Clean the back panel, clean up your heat sink. But just make sure everything looks good, and I put everything through a full test. 9 hours burn in, and plus this one got more burn in than 9 hours because I was working on it. And so it actually got some troubleshooting running time as well. But now what I'm just going to put my camera on the tripod here, and I will show you, kind of give you a walk through of how it actually sounds here. There we go. So yeah, as you can hear, I'm actually going to go back to this preset. Now when I go to actual mono mode, you'll hear how all the oscillators stay together. So as you can hear, it sounds great. We'll put more glide on it. Glide like that, and then hit the mono button and then do this. And actually what you're hearing there, you're hearing all those voices just kind of come together with the glide, and that makes that really cool glide sound that you heard. But some of the other functions, presets alone. And this actually, I reloaded your factory tape data as well that was on it when I got it from you. sounds great, and one of the problems is when I work on these things, I love playing them so much. I find myself playing them a lot. I'm just going to go through some of the sounds here for you too. One of my favorite sounds though is actually preset 21. I'll show you this one. This is a very warm pad sound. And actually you have to forgive my amp here. I don't have my nice amps in here today. I've actually got them, let my parents borrow them. Just a beautiful, beautiful sound. And of course monophonic. A little rusty today too. Sounds are weird. And that's using this voice modulation here with oscillator 3. Kind of the same thing in the Prophet 5 as Polymod. It's got the same kind of thing here, but a lot more complex. There's that preset again. Now here's this one. Hear your pitch bend work. But there's so much, there's 100 presets in this, and for anybody that's interested, I've got more videos with all the kind of demoing some of the presets and stuff in it. But Mike, this is your Memorymoog, and I just wanted to take a quick minute here and give you a video to show you that everything is actually working like it should. And once again, I really appreciate you letting me work on this thing and be able to restore it for you to make it a full working unit again. And guys, people watching this video, I really appreciate all you guys watching my videos, and thanks for the support. And one more thing I will show you though, Mike, I'm going to send this stuff with it just so you have it, because some of this stuff is actually not necessarily bad, but it's just some of the stuff I replace as part of the restoration and service bulletins. These are all your old parts right here. This is all the old capacitors, some 1458s. There's your old trim pots that are placed on your oscillator circuits. And then in here is actually all your CMOS switching chips, your used ones, but they're all good. They're not necessarily bad, but if in a case of emergency that something just happens and you need some parts, those are your originals. Just do with them what you want to, but I always send the old parts back with the units just so you have them. But anyways guys, thanks again, and Mike, thanks again, and we'll have this thing heading your way here pretty soon. Take care.